Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at a very cool Pachycephalosaurus model, and this is actually, as you can see at this point, it is a bust of a Pachycephalosaurus, as there is no body to go with it. But if you can recall, a while back I reviewed 4 different models from a company called Blackheart Models, and they released a very cool line of dinosaur busts. Well, they now have 4 more dinosaur busts out. If you can recall, in the first kind of wave of these, I built, painted, and reviewed a Parasaurolophus, a Styracosaurus, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and a Carnotaurus, and each one was absolutely beautiful. Well, we now have 4 more, and we are starting here today with the Pachycephalosaurus. So what you see before you was painted by myself. This figure actually came in one solid piece except the lower jaw. You have to attach the lower jaw, and then it's ready for painting pretty much. So you've got a really cool base and a beautiful looking Pachycephalosaurus bust. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at this right now. So starting up here at the front of the snout of our Pachycephalosaurus, you can see that the detail here within the beak is really nicely sculpted, and overall I feel like this Pachycephalosaurus has an extremely appealing, very highly detailed sculpt to it. Moving back here into the side of the dinosaur's head, you can see some really beautiful skin texture that they've sculpted out pretty much all over the place. Very nice detailing around the eye as well. I just bumped my camera like an idiot, but really nice detailing there around the eye, and the eye is actually sculpted out in its own right really nicely, so it's very easy to paint. Once you come up here to the top of the Pachycephalosaurus's head, you can see some beautiful scale detail, but of course you also have that kind of trademark ridge-filled or bump-filled area of the snout of the Pachycephalosaurus, and that as well is really nicely done. You also can see the nostrils sculpted out right here on the front of the beak area of our Pachycephalosaurus. And then moving up here into the top of the head, you can see the dome skull as well sports some incredible detail, which lots of cracks and crevices, makes for a really easy paint job to give it that very realistic look, because as long as you include like a nice dark wash or a nice dark base coat for the figure, it'll really shine through that detail up there on the top of the head. And then coming around the back of the head, you can as well see lots of really nice kind of ridges and kind of bumps and everything that are trademarked to what you see normally on a Pachycephalosaurus. And again, really nice detailing that is just pretty much paints itself. It's so good. And then back here you also have the ears sculpted out as well, and you can of course see that over here on this side. So the detailing of the head is really nicely done. If you actually take a look inside the mouth there, you can see the teeth are included back there and everything. You've got a very nice tongue sculpted out in there as well, and the detail in general inside the mouth just looks phenomenal. And again, it's really easy to paint the inside of the mouth, because with the lower jaw showing up disconnected from the sculpt, it's nice to paint the inside of the mouth and then connect the lower jaw back to the body, and then you can paint the rest of the figure. So with a mouth this small, it's really easy to actually paint that prior to putting it together. And that's definitely my recommendation, is to paint the inside of the mouth first. But then coming back here into the neck, you can see some really nice detailing as we move down the neck into what would be the start of the body. Lots of really nice creasing in the skin folds and everything down here. And that is actually because the Pachycephalosaurus has its head turned to the right, so you can see that skin bunching up quite nicely down there. You don't see it quite so much over here on this side. The skin's more stretched, again because it is stretching the skin, pulling it as it's turning to the right. But you can see lots of really nice detailing to the skin texture and everything. Lots of really nice creasing in the skin. As we move back here into the body, you have some osteoderms that pick up here on the top of the dinosaur, showing up kind of randomly throughout. And you can also see this little area. I don't know if that was meant to look like a wound, but I'm thinking it was, so I painted it out. And if I could get it to focus, painted it out like it's a little slit here on the side of the Pachycephalosaurus, just to give it, a little injury, something that is very realistic to what you would probably see in real life on dinosaurs like this. So again, really nicely sculpted is the Pachycephalosaurus, an absolutely gorgeous looking Pachycephalosaurus sculpt. And then you come down here to the base, and this is exactly the same style base that we've had with each and every one of these. You always have this same style of like an earthy kind of a look to it, with vines and everything, or roots kind of all over the place. And I try to paint each and every one differently, but at this point, this is 5 of these I've painted now. I'm probably going to end up having to reuse the same paint job on 1 or 2 of them at this point, but again, I kind of tried to give it sort of like a jungle type of a look, and I think it worked really well. And then you have the Blackheart model logo right here on the front, which I as well tried to give a few different variations of color to. And again, the base is all being the same, I think is awesome, because it really gives the entire set of models like that same type of an appearance, so they all look like they belong together as a set, and that is definitely really cool as well. So as far as this Blackheart's models Pachycephalosaurus bust goes, it is awesome. So as far as a size for a length on our Pachycephalosaurus model here, the bust, you are going to see it a little over 3.5 inches, or about 9 centimeters, actually a little over 9 centimeters as well. And for a height to the top of the head with it on the base, you are looking at about 5.25 inches, or about 13.5 centimeters to the top of the head. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pachycephalosaurus, and Robert Muldoon next to our Blackheart models Pachycephalosaurus bust, and you can see next to these figures that as far as a bust goes, it is not anything that is super huge, but it's also not super small. But as far as like, if you're getting into painting dinosaurs and you really want to learn on something that's not going to be expensive, this is definitely a great way to go. But if you want something that's also not going to take up too much paint and just kind of be a huge project, these busts are an incredibly awesome way to go, because being a little bit smaller like these are, they're pretty much a perfect size for kind of getting into painting, but also if you've been into painting for a long time, it's a great way to have some really cool dinosaur models without taking up too much room in your collection. So either way, it is definitely a complete win. So this Blackheart's models Pachycephalosaurus bust is awesome. I am so psyched now to have some more of these busts here to paint, as I was a huge fan and still am a huge fan of the initial 4. I actually have those displayed right around my painting station, so that shows you how much I like those if they actually get to stay out and displayed. And this one, being the start of this new line of busts, I am 100% sold on them already, as this one is just gorgeous as far as the sculpt and detail goes. Again, they are so good, they almost paint themselves with this kind of detail, and I'm hoping with my paint job, it really has done the sculpt justice. I don't know for sure if it has, because I can't really judge my own work, but I was really quite happy with the paint job I gave the figure, and I feel like it turned out really quite nice overall. And the base is pretty much as nicely sculpted as the dinosaur itself. Continuously, when it comes to these Blackheart's models, busts, you always have this really cool base that's kind of like a trademark of these busts. So if this is something that you are interested in picking up, and I highly recommend that you do, make sure you head to the description. I will have a link right there to the Blackheart's model website where you can pick this up for yourself or any of the other Micromania busts from the Blackheart's models website. Definitely a huge recommendation from me. So make sure you pick some of these up, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.